Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today we're starting our reading with the Emperor card. So every reading, I pull a card as I'm setting up to kind of just get a sampling of the energy. Like, I want a little taste test. You know what I mean? I want to know, what are we walking into before we get all the way in there? So anyways, yes, I do laugh at my own jokes all day long. So we have the Emperor energy. What does that feel like? Yeah, leadership. Somebody who has spent many, many years preparing for the work at hand. This isn't somebody who just decides to run for, city council and they've never had any kind of political position before and they get elected because they're, popular or whatever. No, an emperor is a person who is born to lead. Okay, this is a person who is born into a line of people, into a social caste that allows for them to have the training, the education, the experience to become a leader. Okay, so this is somebody who is very serious about what they do. This is somebody who is, molded, conditioned, is narrowly visioned, right? What does that mean? They are hyper focused on whatever it is they've spent their life devoted to. Okay? Now, this can also be a very lonely card. This can be a person that has ascended to power, has ascended to leadership, has position, and because of this, they've been quite isolated. They are walking a very singular road. So I want to see how does this affect the reading, the tea leaves, the energy of all. Now, we're just coming out of this new moon, and my goodness, has it been a heavy one for me. I feel that I have just had such a deep inspiration these last few days, and yet my mind just feels pulled every which way. I don't know what it is, but I just feel, I don't know, maybe kind of like in a, almost kind of dissociative a little bit, but not in a bad way. Kind of a lingering in the hallways, never actually going in the room type of feeling. And yeah, I noticed recently that there have been a lot of pretty immense solar flares, and I think that maybe has something to do with it, but it's also the time of year. The weather has changed. It was very warm, and now it has gotten quite cold. The trees have changed. It's been dark, cloudy, moody, beloved, gorgeous. I mean, I'm just, but it has me very, not untethered, but kind of untethered. Whatever is like right next door to untethered, right? That's how I feel. So why don't you tell me how you've been feeling? Put it in the comments. Tell me how the change in seasons has affected you. What kind of questions do you have for spirit, for me? What are you looking for? Why? In particular, it could be the tea leaves, but why has divination really kind of attracted you? I'm nosy. That's why I want to know. I'm always interested in people that are into the occult, magic, religion, deep traditional practices, folk magic, whatever it is. But also people that have questions for the oracles, for the divine, for spirit. Because not everybody's willing to talk to the unseen, especially when it comes through somebody else, right? So, if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Let's start with our little house down here. We have this beautiful little house. Now, we also have a person standing next to it. They seem immense, maybe almost somewhat oppressive. They're holding, it looks like, I almost feel like this is like a shovel. Now, up here we also have, it looks like a tangle of people. And up here we have a person who is standing by themselves. And it looks like they're holding onto an A that looks like it's attached to maybe the name, either Dave or, well, no, I guess with it wouldn't be, it would be Dava, maybe. But also it could be Ava, which makes more sense to me. A-V-A, Ava. Now, across the way here, we have another person who is standing and holding something up. And it looks almost like they're holding, this person's looking this way, holding the A, but also holding something out, mirroring the person over here. And over here, again, we have a person holding the same symbol as this one. Now, I almost kind of am seeing it as a stop sign, like a crossing guard would have. It seems to me that there has been some kind of conflict, a tangle of words, feelings, emotions, maybe falling in love. Somebody falling in love. An inconvenient love, it feels like. Maybe something outside of your primary relationship. Maybe even... maybe even a sense of somebody that you are in love with, your spouse, your significant other, your beloved, seeming to have begun a romantic relationship with somebody else. It doesn't feel, though, that your primary relationship is active. So maybe you are separated, maybe you are divorced, maybe you dated a million years ago and you've always been in love. And here they are, like getting married to another person or something like this. But I do feel that there has been just such a chaos in your chest. It feels like it's in the center of you. And we can see this is kind of in the center of the bowl. Now, above, I feel that there is somebody else. You've been in love with this person for so long. And maybe you were married. Maybe you are still married. But something about it has gone. There doesn't seem to be that force of love, attraction, wanting that you used to have. And I almost feel like often the thing that keeps you coming back or in it is a lot of negative attention. I feel like at this point there's been almost like the arguing feels like love, because at least there is connection, there is interaction there. But then to find out, like, they are moving on. They've moved on. Maybe they've moved on for a long time. But this pain seems very alive in you. Even if you haven't been together for 30 years. I feel like you still talk to them. You must be maybe co-parents or maybe still friends. You know, maybe you got to that point where you could be friends again. But there seems to be a chaos. Now, I do feel that there is somebody new or newer in your life, somebody else, somebody who you are beginning to notice, or somebody that you're allowing yourself to realize, like, yeah, this might be something. This might be more than something, right? And I feel that there is a calling towards the home, right? There is a calling home. And we've all been there when we're dating, right? That feeling of, oh my gosh, you know, you got a date on short notice, or somebody called and said, hey, let's hang out, and all of a sudden, you got to get the house cleaned up, you got to get it tidied and ready and everything how you would want it to be so it's presentable and you leave a good impression and all the things, right? And this maybe is not the case, like, in reality. You maybe aren't cleaning up your house to have somebody over, but there is a feeling very similar. And this is so much about getting your life in order in the way that makes you feel confident, that makes you feel like you're ready, that helps you open up and invite this new chapter to begin. Because I feel like you're going to end up with this person. And you might be sitting there saying, Lenor, I've been married for 25 years. I still love my spouse. Yeah, we have some times. And sometimes it's, you know, almost to the bitter end. But I still love them, and I'm going to try. And you know what? It might just work. Because this could also be that person you have been beside for so many years, but now you have become different people. You've grown. You've changed. You've evolved. And so maybe the courtship is beginning again. Maybe you're getting to know them again. Maybe you're falling in love again with this person that they have become. You are growing towards each other like a plant growing towards the sun, right? Those little tendrils reaching out and grabbing onto each other. Yeah. I didn't want this to be a love reading, but you know what? It feels like it is. It feels like there is some love in your life. There's also some strife. I mean, let's just be real. There seems to be some strife as well. Now, we're going to move this thing over here, and it says, T-E-E. I don't know. I'm seeing E, lowercase e, over. Why? Why though? Eric? The name Eric? Eve. E-V-E. And an old school TV with the little bunny ears. If you're old like me and you remember them things. Also, we have the mage. It looks like a disaster. Honestly, it looks like a bug that got smashed. And we have a person up here. We have the number 61, and we have the hermit. We also have maybe the name Joe, J-O. So I want to ask the oracle. Dearest oracle, will you show us really quickly, what is going on with that splat? What is the crash out that's about to happen? We're going to see. Oh my God, has this thing been running? My workout thing's been running for like 5 hours. How did that happen? Okay, independence. Originality. Well, this sounds like an Aquarius to me. Fulfillment. Okay, so I'm getting the impression that your kind of solitary nature is getting challenged, right? You are somebody who's hyper independent. You do most things by yourself. You've probably lived by yourself for years at a time. Like, you're not afraid to be alone. You're probably somewhat eccentric, original. You have your own style, your own aesthetic. You're, unique, very unique. You do things that are fulfilling to you. Like, you have hobbies, you have interests. If you want to like learn about something, you go and learn about it. You're not somebody who just like, oh, one day and I wish I could and whatever. You get in there, you do the thing, okay? But now I'm wondering what it's going to be like as you bring somebody closer into your private life. I think it will be challenging. I think it will be challenging because I think the person that you are drawing closer to is somebody who's somewhat social, right? I feel like they're probably somewhat extroverted. I feel like both of you are probably, money driven, people that want to make some money, really. I mean, riches, right? You want to make some money. You want to make a name for yourself. You want to do the dang old thing, right? And at the same time, I think you both vacillate between like wanting to really like be out there, be seen, on the come up, really like doing something, but then also being very like quiet, solitary, like stay by the house type of people. I feel like you appreciate this duality in this person because it really does match your energy. Now, I don't think that you're always on the same page though. Okay, I think that because you are so similar, there are times where you're misaligned and it can feel very overwhelming. So like if you're in a like, I'm very on my solitary hermit mode and they're out there like on the grind, getting clients and selling and making content or, whatever, I feel like that can be kind of uncomfortable for you and vice versa for them, right? So I do feel like there's a lot of appreciation. There's a lot of this like feeling of game recognized game. So there can be empathy and understanding. Now I do feel, and I just want to check with the tarot to kind of see, and I have the, this little thoth deck here. It's a mini one. We're just going to kind of ask, like, what is the outcome going to be like? If you really do lean into this relationship, what is it going to look like? Okay, so we have the Princess of Cups, so very emotional and fulfilling. If you could imagine, like, swimming in a beautiful, like, koi pond that's purple and mist is coming off and you dip your toe in it and it's like totally rejuvenating. That's the feeling. Okay. Now we have the wands as well. Passionate. This is a passionate match. Also highly physical. Okay. Highly physical, highly emotional, highly physical. Defeat. Okay. We have some issues in the mental, right? So this means that maybe you both are kind of cynical. Maybe there are times where you can get kind of critical, judgmental, arguing. That's the thing here, is that I feel like when you run into a problem, you might go back to the old relationships, the old triggers, the things that have happened in the past, and bring them right forward into your current courtship. And I feel like that can add a feeling of, this is not going to work, because we're immediately going at each other. There's no, warming up to it. You trigger in each other this kind of fight or flight, and you both are smart. You both probably are pretty decent with language, and I think that your arguing is the thing that really is that's going to be the sticking point there. Now, we have peace. Okay, the Two of Swords. So I do feel like you want peace here, right? You want this to work. You want this to be that emotional haven. You want this to be that fiery connection. But you also want that peace. So what does that mean? There's going to have to be some deep self-work going along with this relationship. Learning to hold your tongue, learning to not go all in. I am a firm believer in, setting boundaries. We don't call each other names. We don't belittle each other. We do not critique each other's whatever it is, when you're angry. Yeah, it's like me and my husband, right? We both have our channels. If we're arguing and fighting, that is not a good time to also be talking about work, because these are things that we both care about deeply, right? This is something that we do, obviously for money, but it's also an art form that we both believe in and care about. We have spent our lives at it. So when you get into a place where you're arguing and bickering, and you're also very emotional and passionate people, you do not want to be talking about things that really could affect them deeply or affect you deeply. So learning to really hold that tongue and have those conversations when you are regulated. That's the big thing that I'm feeling here. Okay. Now, one last card we're going to see. Yeah, look at that. The Two of Cups. Love, love, love. This is the thing. This is going to be it for you. This is going to be that relationship that, you probably have for the rest of your life. Honestly, one of your soulmates, I'm a firm believer we have many soulmates in our lives. Now, they're not always romantic, and when that does happen, what a blessing that is. But I do feel like this is going to be one of your soulmates, and it will be a romantic soulmate for sure. So, you're very lucky, Aquarius. I'm kind of jealous. Wow. I mean, who doesn't want new, fresh, I'm not going to say untainted, unweathered love, right? Those first moments of a deep love, when yo, we're going to ride for each other forever, 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 and it's new. It's like being a kid. So, yeah, I'm a little jealous. That's such a good feeling. Not to say that all the other forms of romantic love and all of their seasons aren't wonderful. But, So we have two people right here. One kind of pointing towards the sky. I do feel that this might be a good time for you to be kind of reconnecting or connecting with, for the first time, with a spiritual leader, advisor. Maybe you grew up in a church, you had the same pastor for most of your life, then you left home and you stopped going to church or something, maybe you went to a different one. And this would be a good time for you to go back and have guidance from that pastor, or to reconnect, have a conversation with them. Somebody in your life, or somebody entering your life, is going to be a highly spiritually connected person. Now, it doesn't mean that they have to have position in any system or have an official, role, like a minister or you know, something like this, rabbi or whatever. It doesn't have to be official in that capacity, but it is somebody who you trust spiritually, philosophically. They speak probably somewhat in symbolism and, you know, and storytelling and these kinds of things, because I feel like when you are with them, you are so engaged. You know, you're kind of taken into the conversation. And I feel like this is a person that, has a message for you. Okay, the divine wants you to hear it. So you need to go find this person and link up with them. Okay, we also have the number 6 as being important. And also the number 69 over here, 69. And here's the number 6 over here. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to do our lucky numbers, and then we'll do, I think that's it. That's it, yeah. 67, number 67. Oh, that almost fell off. I'm going to roll it again. It almost rolled right off the table. Okay, 78. Number 78. That's a number I never think about, 78. And this one just went off again. There we go. 100. 100. All right. Well, Aquarius, I love you. I thank you for being here. If you want to tell me your life story, you can put it in the comments. If you want to share your most private, secret thoughts about... let's see. What is the next process beyond dualism? If you want to tell me your most secret and sacred thoughts about that, you can also put those in the comments. Other than that, I want to say again, I love you. Take care of yourself. Be safe. And we will talk soon. Good night.